All right, guys, I got some huge breaking news here for you. This is as serious as it gets. So we just got word that the Trump regime has officially arrested a judge. So it's happening. The increase on a daily basis in the fascism meter is now, the fascism meter is about to explode. The thing is steaming, smoking, red hot. This is a dark thing we're talking about here. So the name of the judge is Hannah Duggan, and she is a judge in Wisconsin, an immigration judge in Wisconsin. And what had happened was ICE was routinely waiting outside of her courtroom so that when it's time for an immigrant to come for their hearing, as soon as they leave the courtroom, they get arrested. No matter what she ruled, no matter what she said, ICE was parking outside of these immigration hearings and just mass arresting the people who come out of the courtroom. And so this judge decided, well, what's happening here is wildly illegal. And so what I'm going to do is tell the immigrants, hey, when the hearing is done, go out the side door. And so that's what they did. So then FBI Director Kash Patel came out and said the following. Just now, the FBI arrested Judge Hannah Duggan out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin on charges of obstruction after evidence of Judge Duggan obstructing an immigration arrest operation last week. We believe Judge Duggan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, allowing the subject, an illegal alien, to evade arrest. Thankfully, our agents chased down the perp on foot, and he's been in custody since, but the judge's obstruction created increased danger to the public. We will have more to share soon. Excellent work. Now, the plot thickens a little bit because soon after he tweeted this, of course, all the news agencies started reporting on it, and then he deleted it. He deleted that tweet. So as of the recording of this video now, it was posted. A bunch of news outlets ran with the news that this judge got arrested by the FBI, and then FBI Director Kash Patel deleted the tweet. So we're a little bit in limbo here as to exactly what's going on and what the facts are. But having said that, look, again, the reason why she did what she did is very simple. She was trying to follow the law. So case in point here, ICE arrested a Virginia man in a courthouse raid right after a judge dismissed the case against him. This is why that judge did what she did. She's trying to uphold the law. She's trying to uphold the Constitution. You have these ICE gangster thugs basically disregarding the law, disregarding the Constitution on a whim, doing whatever they want. And so, by the way, I can't play it for you now, but there's video of ICE arresting this Virginia man in a courthouse raid right after the judge dismissed the case against him. The agents had no badges, refused to show a warrant, then put him in an unmarked van. So here's some quotes from the altercation. "Do not touch me or impede me in my lawful duty," the agent in a pink shirt who seems to be in charge can be heard saying. "That is a crime for you to do so, do you understand?" Quote, "It is highly alarming that ICE would show up to court and detain persons whose charges were dismissed without identifying themselves," said his public defender in Charlottesville, Virginia, where the man has been taken and what charges he faces have still not been disclosed. So we have never seen anything like this. By the way, guys, there's another reason why you can't do things like this, why ICE is flagrantly in violation of the law. If you have ICE agents waiting at every courthouse where there's an immigration hearing so they can mass arrest the people who show up, what does that incentivize? It incentivizes people to not show up to their immigration court hearing, right? So in a variety of different ways, they are absolutely destroying the rule of law. And if we're at the point where they are arresting judges, what do you think comes next? Where does it stop? That's the thing. It doesn't stop. It keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. Okay, let me give you guys some more. So we just learned this. ICE did not have a warrant when agents arrested Mahmoud Khalil. They did not have a warrant when they did that. So yet again, another example, the Trump regime in flagrant violation of the law. By the way, with a functioning judicial system, any one of these things would lead to a dismissal, and Mahmoud Khalil would be set free. In any competent courtroom, even with right-wing judges, They hear this, that Mahmoud Khalil's rights were insanely violated, and we'd be done here. We'd be done. But since this is now a gangster, authoritarian, fascist regime, they do whatever they want, and then the rest of us are trying to play legal catch-up. So more. The other week, we reported for you a story about a U.S. citizen who was detained for 10 days. Well, it turns out that this person is denying absolutely everything that the Department of Homeland Security is alleging. So Border Patrol said that he said he was an illegal immigrant. He says, I never said that. I told them I was from New Mexico. So they accused him of lying. He's got learning disabilities and can't read, and they made him sign a sworn statement without even reading it to him. So yet again, flagrant, obvious, blatant violations of the law, the Constitution, his civil rights, etc. So we also have this. This was breaking from Reuters. The Trump administration moved a Venezuelan man who had worked in construction in Philadelphia to Texas for possible deportation after a federal judge had issued an order blocking his removal from Pennsylvania or the United States. So yet again, look, I don't want to hear it because I know that this is exactly what MAGA is going to do. MAGA is going to come out and say, oh, this Wisconsin judge who was arrested, she was violating the law. That is utter horseshit. She was upholding the law in the face of grave danger because this fascist regime is going to do retaliation and retribution and revenge because she's following the law. I mean, this video is what? I've been going for almost 7 minutes. I've already given you, 4 or 5 different examples of the regime flagrantly violating the law? They are the criminals. They are the thugs. They are the gangsters. They are the fascists. They are the ones who are ripping up rule of law and checks and balances in this country. So here you have yet another case. A judge is crystal clear. You cannot move this person out of this state, and you cannot move this person out of the United States, and they try to do both things. I got another one. This was from NBC News. After a month of searching, man learns from NBC News that the Department of Homeland Security sent his brother to El Salvador. So this is what we mean when we say they are kidnapping and human trafficking people. They are disappearing people. They are shoving them into an unmarked van, because that's literally exactly what's happening. And this family had no idea for a month where their loved one was. All right, so now we got to talk about this too. And they think this stuff is like so cutesy and funny and tee-hee-hee, look at what we're doing. We're triggering the libs. But now we have the Trump regime is selling Trump 2028 hats. That's what they're doing. Now, you know how these things work. It always starts out as ha-ha, hee-hee. We're just joking around. We're just having fun. We wouldn't do that. Then they do it. And then all of MAGA turns around and gaslights you and says, like, of course he was going to do it. And he's right to do it. So there's already too much evidence that, yes, he is planning on staying in office beyond 2 terms. To defend this is completely and utterly un-American. That's what it is. All right, I got more here. So Trump just signed an executive memorandum aimed at investigating Act Blue. For those of you who don't know, Act Blue is the leading Democratic fundraising platform, and the memo directs the Attorney General to look into alleged foreign contributions made on the platform to U.S. elections. There, of course, is no evidence to suggest that this is happening in the first place. And by the way, Trump signed an order within his first month or so where he said, I'm getting rid of these multiple anti-corruption laws. One of them has to do with basically foreign bribery. So he got rid of that law, but now he's saying there might be foreign money coming into Act Blue. We got to crack down on Act Blue. It is hot as fuck out here, guys. I got to take this jacket off. Goddamn. I don't know what I was thinking wearing this thing. I don't want to have nasty ass pit stains in this shirt. But anyway, so let's be clear about what's going on here. He is trying to intimidate the Democratic Party. He is trying to destroy their small dollar fundraising apparatus. And he's not being subtle about it. Not at all. This man is one of the most corrupt politicians in world history, taking $270 million from Elon Musk, $100 million from Miriam Adelson. You got all these billionaires and multinational corporations just dumping money on him, right? And then he turns around and says, oh, these small dollar donations going to Democrats through their payment processor, Act Blue, let's crack down on them. So understand, They know this is illegal. They know this is wrong. They know that there's no there, and they literally don't give a fuck. They don't care. All right, more. I'm sure you all heard this, but Trump, he's got that coin, Trump coin. It's his crypto scam coin. And he came out and said, hey, I will host a dinner with the top 220 holders of this meme coin. So guess what? The line on his meme coin went straight up. It went up over 65% instantly. And this is yet, as somebody said on Twitter, they said, you literally could not do something more illegal if you tried. And as you all know, they basically stopped all enforcement of fraud stuff and scam stuff when it comes to crypto. As CoffeeZilla says, crime is now legal. And so that's what we're looking at here. They basically have made crime legal. And the president is personally enriching himself with his scam coin and rubbing it in everybody's face on a daily basis. I mean, guys, as I've been telling you this all the time, like whenever I'm done with a show, I already look at the news and it's like, oh, I have enough stuff for another show, right? And today, just hit after hit after hit is like, this is fascism. This is authoritarianism. This is the most corrupt thing I've ever seen in my life. And I don't know, man. The country's falling apart, and it's happening in record speed. All right, so we also have, on the issue of crypto, which, of course, Trump is, he absolutely loves. He loves to scam people with it. Americans, the FBI, an FBI report was released. Americans aged 60 and older reported losing almost $3 billion to crypto fraud last year. So in total, Americans reported being scammed out of around $9.3 billion via crypto, out of a total of $16.6 billion in total reported losses that year. So, I mean, this is what this country is now, right? Everybody's scamming everybody else. Nobody cares about, the things that we all used to consider good qualities. You're supposed to be virtuous. You're supposed to be honorable. You're supposed to have integrity. You're supposed to tell the truth. You're supposed to be empathetic and kind. Now, it's a country run by scam artists, run by fraudsters, right? That ethos has clearly taken over the country. And now, our old people are getting scammed out of billions of dollars in crypto every year because they're so naive. They think this is a high trust society. It's not. It's a massively low trust society. And they get shook down, right? And, it's almost embarrassing in a sense because this is as stupid as those emails like, hey, I'm a Nigerian prince. If you give me this much money, I'll give you more back. And some people used to fall for that shit. Some people probably still fall for that shit. But old people are falling for this crypto nonsense, right? Billions of dollars they're losing. And a lot of these people, they need that fucking money. This is like their retirement money. We need enforcement, man. We need enforcement. This stuff needs to be made illegal, and we need massive penalties and time behind bars for people who engage in this sort of scam stuff. But, of course, that means locking up the president. But that's one of about 412 crimes he's committed. Now, at the same time, Charles Gasparino, he's the Fox Business guy who's got connections all over Wall Street. He came out and said, people inside the Trump White House are alerting Wall Street executives that they are nearing an agreement in principle on trade with India. So, in other words, the Trump regime is whispering in the ears of their buddies on Wall Street, their robber baron friends on Wall Street, the CEO class, and they are telling them, hey, man, the talks with this nation are going good, just so you know. And so they are doing insider trading and making money before these things become announced to the public. You understand what I'm saying? So they'll do it. They'll tell them. They'll act on it. And then like an hour later or 2 hours later, the news comes out about it. And so they're getting in beforehand on the market action, knowing how the market is going to react. Again, in a functioning country with a functioning regulatory system and a president who wasn't a con artist, I mean, we would never be here. We would never be here in this scenario. It's all out in the open. They used to at least have the good sense back in the day to keep their crimes behind closed doors. Now, they are telling a Fox Business Wall Street reporter about their crimes, and he's casually mentioning it as if like, well, obviously there's no consequences for this, so I'll just say it. All right, more. This is wild, man. So Trump just pardoned a Republican politician who was awaiting sentencing on federal charges for stealing money that was meant to honor fallen police officers and using it on her cosmetic surgery. So there's a Nevada politician by the name of Michelle Fiore. Total fucking plasticed up, right? You had some plastic surgeon probably lived in her fucking house and worked on her on a daily basis. That sort of bitch with the Mar-a-Lago face, right? Got the lips. She's got the boobs. This bitch is like 38% Barbie, right? Like she's almost half plastic, right? So she was stealing money that was meant to go to fallen police officers and using it on her plastic surgery. Trump pardoned her. I'm tired, bro. I'm tired. Any one of these stories that I've given you just so far in this segment would be enough to take down any other president. But with Trump, he's just a fucking bull in a china shop. He keeps going forward. So, interesting story coming out of West Virginia from More Perfect Union. There's this guy by the name of Harry Wiley, and he filed a lawsuit. He's a coal miner, and he's suing RFK Jr. And he's doing that because RFK Jr. had Health and Human Services fire over 200 workers at the local National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health facility. So in other words, to put that in layman's terms, this facility plays a crucial role in detecting black lung for the region's miners. So they're firing the people that make sure the miners don't get black lung. And so now the miners are suing RFK saying, what the fuck? This is sort of important. We don't want people dropping dead of black lung at age 38. So, it just goes to show you, right? The Maha shit, make America healthy again. They're such fucking bullshitters. They're such fucking liars, right? If you actually believed in making America healthy again, for example, Trump would not have deregulated the cancer-causing forever chemicals, the PFAS, which is something he did, by the way. You wouldn't be doing shit like this. Get rid of the people who make sure the miners don't get black lung. They're just such frauds, man. I can't get over how fraudulent they are. And I can't get over that anybody's buying their bullshit at this late date. Like, you have to follow this stuff literally not at all to come to the conclusion that these are good guys, right? All right, more. So let's talk a little bit about the trade war. Listen to this. Here's what the Wall Street Journal editorial board said. Quote, China called Mr. Trump's bluff and seems to have won this round. That's the Wall Street. They are super duper conservative, the Wall Street Journal editorial board. They're saying China's winning, dog. China's winning. Here's what Jamie Dimon said. Trump's tariff plan is, quote, stupid. Financial Times said, quote, the U.S. is no longer indispensable. That's something I've been saying on this show. Bloomberg said Trump's strategy to confront China is, quote, doomed to fail. So now you have even the mainstream media, even the right-wing pro-business, pro-capitalist media outlets are coming out and saying, bro, we are barbecue chicken, dog. You are up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. You have absolutely no way out whatsoever. You got to reverse course. And get down on your knees and beg to President Xi, bro. Get down on your knees and beg. Because this is not going to end well. And by the way, it is really, really not going to end well. So, evidence to that effect here. So Trump came out and tweeted the following. Boeing should default China for not taking the beautifully finished planes that China committed to purchase. This is just a small example of what China has done to the USA for years. And by the way, fentanyl continues to pour into our country from China through Mexico and Canada, killing hundreds of thousands of our people. That's bullshit. And it better stop now. So he is castigating China. He's berating China because they are backing out of a deal that they had to take planes from Boeing. They were going to buy planes from Boeing. And by the way, there was a lot of them, over 130 jets they were going to buy from Boeing. So China returned 2 of the Boeing jets, each, by the way, valued at $55 million. With $69 million in tariffs that were applied, the cost of the plane would increase to $124 million. So they said, this is too fucking expensive. We're not going to do this. So they returned the planes, and then they said, cancel the order for the next 130 that we were supposed to get. Again, look, guys, these are the things. Trump is a fucking moron. He's totally incompetent. He's a dumbass. He doesn't even think like one step ahead, never mind trying to think 6 steps ahead. Like, hey, if I do this, what'll they do? Oh, they'll do that. Then I should do this in response. Then they'll do that. He doesn't do that. There is no long-term thinking. He's unintelligent. And so because of that, he thought, bro, I'm just going to throw my weight around and bully all these countries into submission, and they're going to do whatever I want, and literally hit a brick wall where no country was like, yeah, we'll do whatever you want. In fact, what happened is the rest of the world started working more closely with each other which is why you saw South Korea, Japan, China all get together, all say, hey, we're gonna make a deal. We're gonna retaliate against America if they tariff us together. So it literally, none of this went how they wanted at all. Like every single step of the way, it backfired on them because they're too fucking stupid to do this. They don't know what they're doing. But that's still not it, guys. So China has now canceled 12,000 metric tons of U.S. pork shipments. Oops! Turns out you didn't consider, hey, wait a second. Other countries also take our goods, right? Like we export stuff. If I start a trade war with other countries, maybe they'll stop buying our stuff. And then maybe that'll destroy our farmers in this country. That'll destroy our industries in this country. He didn't fucking consider that because he's a dipshit. Oh my God. Now, if you wanted another indicator as to how bad things are going to get and how bad they're getting, home sales fell to the lowest level since the subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession. That was literally an economic downturn spurred by housing. And now we're at the lowest level since then. So the air is coming out of the fucking tire and it's happening quick. Here's another one for you. The CEOs of Walmart, Target, and Home Depot, they went to Trump privately and they told him, just so you know, what you're doing here in about 2 weeks, in about 14 days, our shelves are going to start being light, dog. Our shelves are going to empty because we rely on this sort of trade. How do you think the American public is going to react when they go to Walmart or they go to Target and they can't buy those cheap consumer goods that they're so accustomed to? How are they going to react when the shelves are only 50% stocked? How are they going to react? And by the way, Trump's approval rate, we just got a new approval rating on him. He's down to 37%. I mean, his low is anywhere from 26 to 33. He's almost at his low already. Like the bare minimum, because he has a cult and the cult never leaves him. So he's got a little bit more wiggle room, maybe about 10 percentage points or so. But like he's in the 30s now, bro. It's been a little over 100 days. He's in the 30s. And we haven't even seen the shortages yet from the trade war. Okay. All right, let's talk a little bit about Trump's war on Harvard. So Trump comes out and post the following. Harvard is an anti-Semitic far-left institution, as are numerous others, with students being accepted from all over the world that want to rip our country apart. The place is a liberal mess, allowing a certain group of crazed lunatics to enter and exit the classroom and spew fake anger and hate. It is truly horrific. Now, since our filings began, they act like they are all American apple pie. Harvard is a threat to democracy with a lawyer who represents me, who should therefore be forced to resign immediately or be fired. He's not good. He's not that good anyway. And I hope that my very big and beautiful company, now run by my sons, get rid of him ASAP. So he's saying, hey, there's a lawyer for the Trump business, and my sons are now running the Trump business. They should fire this guy because he went to Harvard. And Harvard is an anti-Semitic far-left institution. Now, remember, the war from Harvard is because of what? Trump sent some demands and said, hey, you need to do these things to keep getting any federal money. And so at first they responded and said, okay, look, let's talk. Let's make a deal. Hold on one second. Stinky's got to go inside. So Harvard said, yeah, let's make a deal. We can work this out, right? And then what happened is Harvard was willing to give an inch, right? They were willing to say, okay, what? You want us to get rid of the DEI programs or whatever? Okay, maybe we can accommodate that. But then Trump goes, oh, did I say, I just want you to get rid of DEI? No, I don't. I want you to get rid of DEI. I want you to have MAGA affirmative action. I want you to rework every single course I don't like and make it coincide with a right-wing MAGA world philosophy. Right? And they wanted to effectively take over the institution, to destroy the institution, to make it a little fucking pathetic propaganda factory. And so at that point, Harvard was basically left with no choice because you give the fascist an inch and they want to take a mile. And they said, you know what? We're not even going to give you an inch. Fuck you. And so now they're fighting back. And because they were brave and because they stood up, now other institutions that were falling are now fighting back also. At first, a lot of law firms bent the knee to Trump and were willing to give him millions of dollars in pro bono law work. And then they realized, hold on, they're going to want us to defend the absolutely fucking indefensible, like getting rid of due process. We're not going to do that. And so then about 100 law firms signed a letter saying, fuck you and the horse you rode in on. Then the law firms that had originally agreed to fight for Trump went, I don't know about this anymore, dog. And so they're overreaching, and Trump is melting down because now he's finally hitting resistance. And guys, the only way we get out of this is for everybody to have a unified voice and resist together. That's the only way we get out of this. You cannot give the fascist an inch. All right, so let me give you some more. Just further evidence that MAGA voters got absolutely played. Trump won Arkansas by 30 points. And we just learned that Trump denied Arkansas's request to declare a major disaster, blocking tornado victims from receiving federal recovery aid. So there's been a number of examples of this. This happened with West Virginia with flooding. He rejected. Is there a giant bee by me? Jesus Christ. I hear it. It's scaring the shit out of me. Yep, it's right by my knee. That is terrifying. Can you please go? Oh my God, it's on my knee, like straight up. I'm slapboxing with a bee, y'all. What the fuck? All right, I hit it and it went away. Let's hope it doesn't come back. Anyway, so this happened with West Virginia. There was horrible flooding. And then Trump was like, I'm not going to give you, a disaster declaration, which means I'm not unlocking federal funds to help you. They're literally trying to get rid of FEMA, to abolish FEMA and send it to the state and local level, which, by the way, would get nothing accomplished because states don't have the fucking funds in order to help in an emergency like this. They're not wealthy enough. The federal government is. So this is basically Trump putting his middle finger up to any time there's a disaster in this country, you're on your fucking own. And this is wild because, remember, when he ran, he was ripping Joe Biden because you're not helping the people in North Carolina, Joe. You're not helping the people in North Carolina. How dare you? I would help them and I'd help them so quickly. And then now he's like, let's get rid of FEMA completely. No disaster aid for West Virginia. Now no disaster aid for Arkansas. I believe there was even a third place where he did the same thing. And it may have even been another conservative state. So he is genuinely and sincerely stabbing even his own voters in the back. All right, so now let's talk about, this was huge news that I got to bring to you guys. So there is an Israeli terrorist by the name of Itamar Ben-Gvir. He was the absolute super far right flank of the Israeli government. Now, as you all know, the entire Israeli government is fascist. So to be the far right flank of the fascists, that's really saying something. So this guy is evil. He went to Mar-a-Lago and he spoke to all of the, MAGA freaks there. And he tweeted the following. This is what he tweeted. This is what he showed publicly. You can only imagine all the things they were saying privately. He said, I had the honor and privilege of meeting with senior Republican Party officials at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. They expressed support for my very clear position on how to act in Gaza and that the food and aid depots should be bombed in order to create military and political pressure to bring our hostages home early. He's saying, bomb the food and aid depots. Now, just so you know, Israel shut off all the food going into Gaza for over 45 days now. And the World Food Program just came out and said, we just delivered our last batches of food. We got nothing left. So when they run out of this one, they're done. They got nothing to eat, bro. You've already had 53 children starve to death, and now you're going to have everybody who's there become malnourished and potentially die. They blocked the food. And so here's this terrorist coming to Mar-a-Lago and saying, yeah, I spoke to the top Republican officials, and I said, bro, we got to bomb the food and the medicine and bomb all the civilian targets there. He literally went and said that and then posted about it publicly. Okay, so guess what happens then? While he's on this trip to America, he's like, oh, I'll go do like a speaking tour on colleges. Excuse you? Homie, you are a legit terrorist. You were just talking about bombing civilian goods. You were just doing it. So what happens? Well, exactly what you would expect to happen. College students in this country generally have a conscience. So some Yale students came out and decided this guy, Itamar Ben-Gvir, was going to come speak at Yale. They were like, bitch, not on our watch. So they started protesting, and they set up some encampments. So here's what DropSite says. Yale has now banned a student group for protesting Israeli minister Ben-Gvir, who calls for Gaza's ethnic cleansing and starvation. Itamar Ben-Gvir, Israel's national security minister, is a convicted racist found guilty of inciting hatred and supporting CAC, which is a group designated as a terrorist organization even by Israel. By the way, he was found guilty of racist incitement even in Israel. Which I don't know if you know this, the standards are lenient as fuck there. You can get away with a lot there. He is scheduled to speak tonight at Shabtai, a private Jewish leadership society at Yale. Earlier today, Ben-Gvir called for the bombing of Gaza's food and aid depots, openly advocating collective punishment and deepening the humanitarian catastrophe for the territory's starving population. Roughly 200 students, or as we should call them, heroes, staged an encampment protest at Yale's Beinecke Plaza last night. In response, the protest disbanded around 11 p.m., and Yale acknowledged the demonstration was, quote, not affiliated with any recognized student organizations. Despite that fact, the university revoked the official status of Yaleys for Palestine, the campus chapter of Students for Justice in Palestine, for its alleged involvement. Guys, this is fucking, we are living in bizarro world. People are celebrating the terrorists and smearing the heroes. I mean, again, I've never seen anything like this. Again, just to put this further in perspective for you, this Israeli minister, Ben-Gvir, he is open about the fact, he says this all the time, that the IDF can and should shoot both women and children in Gaza. They should shoot women and children. By the way, you want to know how the media reacted to this? I saw a bunch of tweets, I saw a bunch of headlines where people would say, anti-Semitic incident occurs at Yale. Watch these Jewish students get yelled at. Oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? No, there was no anti-Semitic incident. You had students who support Palestine and they're against the genocide yelling at these students who were going in to listen to a terrorist speak, listen to a terrorist spread his terrorist ideology. And yes, they were yelling at them. They were mocking them. They were saying things to them. Of course. But they spun it as if, oh, all that's happening here is you have an anti-Semitic mob saying anti-Semitic things to these Jews solely based on the fact that they're Jews. That's a fucking lie. Everybody knows that's a lie. God, I'm losing it, man. I'm losing it. This is like the equivalent of having, Himmler come speak in America or Hermann Goering come speak in America during the height of the Holocaust, right? And then you have people protesting Goering or protesting Himmler, and this anti-German bigotry. Let's punish those people who are doing anti-German. What the fuck are you talking about? These are people who are against a Holocaust, and they're fighting for that right now. They're the only people brave enough to fucking stand up and tell the obvious truth. So, and okay, ready? This gets worse, y'all. Ready? I'm going to lose it. Wait, where's that? So I can't find the thing. Oh, here it is. Okay. So Cornell, ready for this? Has rescinded the invitation to the singer Kalani. Why? Because she's pro-Palestine and she's criticized Israel. So at the same time, you can be an official Israeli government convicted racist. He was convicted for racial incitement. He is an open fucking terrorist who says kill women and children on purpose, bomb food, bomb medicine, starve the entire population of Gaza, kill them all. So they welcome with open arms, an Israeli terrorist. But they say, oh, you criticized Israel, Miss Singer Kalani, so we're disinviting you. We have lost our ever-loving mind, bro, in this country. Again, I know I say it all the time, but to say we are barbecue chicken is a fucking understatement. We are so gone. We are so done. There is zero moral clarity. Like, this story is so straightforward and so obvious and so clear who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. And the media fucking warps it, and the government are their henchmen who are going to target the only people with moral clarity in this country. By the way, it actually gets even worse. So, Dropsite News is reporting that officials confirmed that there was a raid in multiple cities of the Tahrir coalition. FBI agents did the raid, as well as Michigan State Police, and local officers were involved too. This was a raid of pro-Palestine protesters, y'all. It was a raid of pro-Palestine protesters. So now we're just raiding people for free speech. We're raiding people for being correct on an issue and saying, hey, we're against genocide, we're against mass murder, we're against ethnic cleansing, we're against the new Holocaust. We want to save the lives of these babies being carpet bombed and starved. Now you're being raided because you organize protest to be on the obviously correct side of an issue. Again, I mean, you know, this is like Nazi Germany shit now. It really is. I mean, you could try to dance your way around it, do some mental gymnastics and some jujitsu to get out of it, but no. The plain face reading of what's happening is we are acting like the new Nazis. This is some new Nazi type shit. All right, so I still got more for you guys. This shit never ends. So, Alyssa Slotkin is, of course, the Democratic senator who Chuck Schumer thinks, oh, this one's the future of the party. Oh, God, we love Alyssa Slotkin, and I'm so aroused when I'm around Alyssa Slotkin. They're so aroused. So, this is the handpicked Schumer choice to lead the party, so you know she's absolutely, positively fucking horrible at her job. So she gave an interview, what was it, to Politico? I think it was to Politico. And ready for this? Slotkin says, Democrats should stop using the term oligarchy because no one knows what it means. Let's be clear, the reason she has this opinion is because she has taken money from the oligarchs and she wants to continue to take money from the oligarchs. That's why she has this position. Because the reality of the situation is what? Bernie and AOC are doing an anti-oligarchy tour right now as we speak, and they are packing out every arena they've been to and then some. You have overflow rooms, and then you have overflow to the overflow rooms, and then you have overflow to the overflow to the overflow rooms. They are putting up fucking prime Beatles numbers. Prime Justin Bieber numbers. They are putting up numbers that I've never seen in politics. Bernie is beating his own colossal rallies from when he ran in 2016 and when he ran in 2020. That's what's happening. Not only that, Alyssa Slotkin, we have fucking polling on this, and the majority of the American people know what oligarchy means. And by the way, if they didn't, they are learning about it now, and they're understanding how bad it is, and they're understanding this is what's happened to our country with Elon Musk and the robber barons rigging the system, buying the government, giving themselves favors and screwing over everybody else. If they didn't know about it, now they do know about it. You don't know anything about politics. You know nothing about politics. And the fact of the matter is, she is a status quo defender. That's the bottom line. She loves the status quo. She only wants some minor tweaks around the edges. She has no idea how to defeat MAGA. She has no idea how to get a group of passionate people to support you and to fight for your political goals. If she were to do a rally, there would be 13 people that showed up, and about 2 or 3 of them would be her own family members. So I don't want to fucking hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'm sick and tired of these, and you see this all the time now. In fact, I got another one on this exact issue. So Ken Martin is the new head of the DNC, and Ken Martin comes out and says, the DNC will stay out of all primary races, and we're giving David Hogg an ultimatum. He can't do this thing that he's doing. So David Hogg has been going around saying, look, we might go after some Democrats in safe seats. If there are Democrats who suck at their job, they don't know how to fight MAGA, they don't know how to win, they don't know how to make good arguments, they don't know how to get attention, then yeah, maybe we'll take out some Democrats in safe seats. That's what David Hogg said. David Hogg is 100% correct. Ken Martin puts the kibosh on all of it. No, we are passing a rule to make sure we don't get involved in primaries ever. Now, why would he do that? He's trying to pretend like, oh, we'll make it neutral. We just want to stay neutral. That's not his actual position. His actual position is, I want the shitty, worse Democrat to win more often. That's his position. Why do I say that? Because he knows if the DNC stays out of it, what's going to happen? The centrist, cucked to MAGA politician, they are the one that will raise the most money from industry, from billionaires, from corporations, right? And so they will have a built-in advantage. If you're outraising your congressional opponent 6-1, you have a massive advantage at the congressional level. It's a little different at the presidential level. That money doesn't matter as much at the presidential level because you get so much free media. But at the congressional level, that money fucking matters. And so by him saying, we're going to be neutral, what he's really saying is, no, we're not. We want the worst candidate to win, the bigger status quo defender to win, the one who does politics as usual, business as usual. Well, guess what, Ken Martin? Business as usual got us in this place that we're in right the fuck now. We want fighters. The voters want fighters. And guess what, guys? At the end of the day, this might all come to naught. Why? Because I think this is just the moment of the progressive Democrat. Because you see the energy. You see how Democrats are yearning for their own version of a Tea Party. They're yearning for fighters. They're yearning for younger voices. They're yearning for people to have an agenda to take on MAGA and to take on the corrupt billionaires and the corporations. They're yearning for somebody who's going to fight for universal health care and fight for a higher minimum wage and fight for the PRO Act so you can join a union and fight for paid time off and fight to end the wars and stop our funding of barbaric regimes like Israel, right? We're just there, right? We're just there. There's no way around it, okay? So, but Ken Martin is trying to put the kibosh on it. That's what he's trying to do. Ken Martin is trying to say, hey, David Hogg, sit down and shut up. Know your fucking place. There's a system here which is built on fucking graft and grifting and people getting paid no matter how shitty of a job they do, and you're not going to come in here and rock the boat. That's what he's saying to David Hogg. Well, fuck you, Ken Martin. Fuck you. We like David Hogg. We don't like you. We don't like Alyssa Slotkin. We don't. Get over it, right? Like, these people have been abject failures, and it's time to come to terms with that and stop defending them. And make no mistake about it, that's what Ken Martin is doing. He's defending the loser Democrats. The loser Democrats. All right. We also have this. This is great news. So Bernie is now officially recruiting thousands of people to run for office. So obviously they're going to be in his mold, which I fucking love. And I can't get enough of that. He blasted out an email to all his supporters, to his whole list. And basically he's like, hey, dog, if you're on the fence, if you're considering it, just do it. Just run. We need you. We need you to save this country. We do. We need shit. We need hundreds more Bernie Sanders-like politicians in power. That's what we need. We need more Rashida Tlaibs. We need more Ilhan Omars. We need more Jasmine Crockett's and Maxwell Frosts and AOC's, and we need it, right? And I think people might heed the call. All right, then I also got this one. This one, ooh, man, were people pissed off about this one. And they were right to be pissed off about this one. So Sean O'Brien, you guys know him. He's the head of the Teamsters. This asshole decided, I'm going to abstain from making an endorsement in the 2024 election, right? And that was a big deal because unions usually endorse Democrats because Democrats do way more for unions than Republicans ever did. But he abstained. And now at the same time, there were like, a dozen other unions? Like almost all the other unions endorsed Kamala and endorsed the Democrats. This was like the one union that decided, oh, we'll just stay out of it, right? We'll be neutral. And so that was interpreted as like tacit Trump endorsement, because it is. That is what it is, right? The reason why people were so furious about that is because it was literally Joe Biden and the Democrats who bailed out the Teamsters pension fund. And that happened with every Republican being on the other side of it. Every Republican wanted to screw over the Teamsters. Joe Biden and the Democrats saved their asses. So in other words, the way politics functions, this is a material thing here. I saved your ass, and now you're going to stab me in the back and twist the knife? Fuck you. Right? Fuck you. Because any good person in a scenario like that, I mean, he bailed out all these working class people. He bailed them out. The Democrats bailed him out, and he said, I don't care. I'm going to give bullshit, both sides, false equivalence arguments all the time and pretend you're both the same on union issues, which is fucking preposterous. Trump's already destroyed the NLRB. Trump's already destroyed the CFPB. The Democrats, almost all the Democrats are for the PRO Act, minus a handful. Like, virtually none of the Republicans except a handful are for the PRO Act. These things are not the same. So anyway, Sean O'Brien tweets the following. Ready? Socialist AOC and Bernie Sanders caught on video exiting $15,000 per hour private jet attending fighting oligarchy rally. So this is a guy, understand, this is a guy who has been coddling Trump's nuts for months now. He's been saying good things about assholes like Josh Hawley, who's not even in favor of increasing the minimum wage, pretending he's a fucking populist. He holds Republicans to the lowest standard in the world, the lowest bar in the world, and he holds Democrats to the highest bar in the world. And he does false equivalence bullshit all the time and pretends like, oh, they're roughly the same, or maybe we'll convince the Republicans to be more pro-union. That ain't happening, bitch. It hasn't happened. You failed. You fucking failed on that shit. Admit it. So now, instead of owning up, hey, I was wrong about Trump. This is the most anti-union president in modern American history. This is the most anti-worker president in modern American history. Instead of coming out and owning up to that, he starts attacking AOC and Bernie Sanders. Did this motherfucker say anything? Did he say anything about Donald Trump killing the Biden rule that raised the minimum wage for all federal contractors and employees to $15 an hour? Trump came in there and rolled that back and said, no, I want to pay them less. Did he say a fucking word about that? Did he say a fucking word about that? He didn't, did he? He didn't. I can't deal with guys like this. He's such a fucking snake. He's such a gross little snake. You're going to attack them? Two of the most pro-union members One in the House, one in the Senate. You're going to shit on them while coddling Trump and Josh Hawley's nuts when they're massively anti-union? What a fucking fraud you are. What a fraud Sean O'Brien is. Disgusting. All right. I think I have, let's see. I got two more here. Let me, all right, let's finish with this. So, Scott Besson and Elon Musk apparently got into a massive fight. This is a big deal. So Axios reported that Besson confronted Musk, and sources said, quote, the F-bombs started to fly. Besson criticized Musk for overpromising and underdelivering budget cuts with Doge. So let's just pause here to say this is just factually correct, right? Originally, they said we're going to cut like $2 trillion from the budget, which is that's not possible. That's not possible unless you want to destroy this country and, roll the clock back 150 fucking years. You want to destroy everything good about the government? Yeah, sure, then you could cut $2 trillion. The only place you could find a lot of savings, it's the Pentagon, and it's not $2 trillion, right? There's a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse. In fact, over 60% of the Pentagon funds, nobody knows where the fuck they go. You could absolutely cut the Pentagon, but it's not going to be anywhere near $2 trillion, right? And so what Besson is saying is true. You're a fraud. You said $2 trillion. Then they eventually admitted, no, I meant $150 billion, which, Jesus Christ, that's way far away from $2 trillion. And then the reality is, actually, it's $50 billion. And when you look at the specifics of the $50 billion they're cutting, it's literally all the things that are the best about our government. Those are the things that they're cutting. All the funding for the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which is the anti-scam police, and make sure you don't get scammed. And if you do get scammed, you can get your money back, right? They're destroying that. They're cutting off pediatric cancer research, other NIH funding, long-term studies for medicine, right? Meals on Wheels. It's all things that, like, the government can and should do, the best things the government do. That's what he's cutting. That's the $50 billion he's cutting. So Besson's like, basically, hey, you're overpromising and under-delivering. You're a fraud. Of course, Elon Musk, since he's very low IQ, he claps back by calling Besson a Soros agent and accusing him of having run a failed hedge fund. Trump, by the way, had praised Besson's financial acumen. So they say the argument was so heated that an aide stepped in between the two men to separate them. It took place within earshot of Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, who was visiting Trump that day. Understand something, guys? This administration is full of white trash. Elon Musk is white trash. He's a little fucking apartheid South Africa bitch boy, right? Spoiled, born with a silver spoon in his mouth, born on third base and he thought he hit a triple, right? This is who this guy is. He is fucking white trash. He's a crybaby. He's used to throwing tantrums and getting his way. He's hypomanic. He has genuine mental illness. He doesn't understand how he comes across to people. And so he starts yelling in front of the fucking Italian prime minister because he's white trash. Two sources who overheard the argument recalled that at one point Besson yelled, "Fuck you," and Musk replied, "Say it louder." That night, Trump loyalist Laura Loomer got in on the action and began torching Besson on X for allowing an unrelated Trump hater into Treasury for financial literacy event. Laura Loomer's a trip, man. Literally, she'll like scour your internet history going back to like 2009 to see if you ever said anything bad about Donald Trump. And if you did, she'll go whine to him in the Oval Office. Hey, this guy's a secret agent. You got to get rid of him. Jesus Christ. All right, and final story of the day. And this is nothing to scoff at. So now, it turns out that India and Pakistan are looking like they might go to war. Now, they are both nuclear-armed countries. So that is a terrifying, terrifying prospect, man. This was the thing, I forget whether it was Bill Clinton or Barack Obama, but one of them said when they were asked, what's the thing that really kept you up at night as U.S. president? They said, India and Pakistan. They felt like that was the place that it was most likely for nuclear war to actually break out, right? So that's not good. So India called on its citizens to leave Pakistan. Okay, that's not a good sign. That is not a good sign. Quote, Pakistan declares the Indian Defense, Naval and Air Advisors in Islamabad persona non grata. They are directed to leave Pakistan immediately, read a statement by Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's office after he convened a rare National Security Committee meeting, adding that visas issued to Indian nationals would be canceled with the exception of Sikh pilgrims. So this is not good. We're looking at ethnic cleansing here, in a sense. And look, I say it because it's true. You want to know why we are where we are now? It's Trump. It's Trump. Trump came in, completely and utterly chaotic, completely and utterly unstable. The message was sent to the world, there is no captain of the ship, right? He's doing a trade war with every country in the world. He's threatening actual wars against some of our allies. He's a warmonger. He's an imperialist. He's trying to bring back old school colonialism with Ukraine and steal 50% of their resources from now until forever. It became very clear to the world, well, these people are fucking crazy. There is no adult in the room. And so actually we could just do what we want and there will be no consequences. And so now India and Pakistan are letting it all fucking hang out. And they are on the brink of an actual war. Oh, man. But don't worry. I'm sure it's okay. Because what? Pete Hegseth is going to get involved and fucking fix it? I mean, we're cooked. The world is cooked, bro. The world is cooked. The world has never been more cooked. And you all know why that is. Because of these fucking absolutely monstrous, barbaric freaks who are in control of everything.